seems so soon.
Welcome to Scramble Game Show. Today, you will see a special session. You will see the pictures on the screen show you different things, but they are related to Scramble. I will come to that. Today is also a very interesting day. We are starting an experimental lecture or learning program of Chinese language. Now, learning Chinese, you may wonder what's got to do with Scramble. We know Scramble is a word game and help people learn vocabulary, the language, and pretty fast. And people like it because it's a game. It's a fun game. It turns out the Scramble game can be applied to any language, at least any alphabetical language. But for non-alphabetic language such as Chinese, since people already invented sort of pseudo-alphabets to represent the language, so it can be applied as well. And we feel we can build a program based on Scramble games and make learning language fun. I have taken that as a challenge, and I have some volunteers today to be doing this experiment with me, and they are very interested, and they are experimental in the sense that they know nothing about Chinese language, and yet they are interested. And we hope they can prove a fun game is the best way to learn a language. Okay? So let me first introduce my students, let's call it, okay, in this session. Here, in front of me, this is Katie. Tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, which grade you are.
I'm from Somers, and I'm in grade 5. I'm going into 6th.
Wow, that's a big transition time, right?
Yeah.
Good. Now, next is Lauren.
I'm from Somers, and I'm in grade 5 going into grade 6.
Also, so you both were in the same class before?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm so glad that you both interested in learning Chinese, at least have a little taste of it, right? Language is, very interesting. In fact, you have to view language as now your asset, okay? The more language you know means more assets you have, okay? If you know some people from, say, Europe, usually kids grow up learning several languages, okay? They learn German, they learn French, they learn English, they learn Dutch, slightly different and so on, okay? And really didn't bother them because, human being can learn very fast when they are young and when they are interested, okay? Particularly when they are interested and also they're willing to apply, you will learn language very fast, okay? So we try to design this course to make people, okay, enjoy the learning process, and at the end, you'll be able to speak Chinese language, okay? All right. Now, on my left is your friends. You all know Jerry, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're also from SIS
Yep.
and going to middle school.
Yep.
All of them. So I have a very sort of uniform group, but in my opinion, when you learn language, it doesn't matter how old you are actually. You could have older kids, younger kids, even adults learning the same time. In fact, we have families signed up for this course. Okay, you are now leading this experiment. We try to do a session like this, and later on we will try to modify and improve and so forth. And the people sign up, actually families, and they have parents, kids learning the language. Why is better? Because now when you learn the 1 hour, when you go home, you will be able to practice, use it. And if we build a game, you can bring the game and play at home. Okay? So in that sense, the more people in the family learn, the better. Right? Okay. All right. Let's leave those other sessions, okay, for a while. We'll concentrate on today, experimental session, introduction. Now, I want to use this hour to tell you, first-timer, except Jerry is going to help me, and he has learned Chinese, so he's my assistant, right? So in teaching this, I do have assistant every session. And I will tell you how I'm going to go about teaching this. In Chinese language, most important part, and probably some people find it challenging, is the pronunciation. Okay? Every language pronunciation is always challenging, because if you hear somebody speak Russian and you never learn the language, you'll find it very challenging. And somebody speaks Spanish, if you never learn, you find that very challenging. So the sound is always the issue. So Chinese is no different. Therefore, really you should not, think, oh, this is going to be a tough language. It's just like any other language. So how do we get into this? Is to be able to master the sound, the pronunciation of Chinese. Okay? Chinese language is older in the sense in history. It's a few thousand years old. Okay? The sound development, unfortunately, because China is a large country and large population, there are a lot of dialects developed. Okay? Just like English, there are dialects, but it's very minor because history is short, and our sort of English pronunciation is not that different. You go to Brooklyn, you may say, oh, he sounds a little bit funny, huh? Mm-hmm. That happens. But in China, because of the long history, you can have dialects that are quite different, okay? And very different to the point that you hardly understand anything. So that's difficult. But fortunately, okay, in the recent history, the Chinese language is converging into one standard pronunciation, which is called Mandarin. Okay? If you people ask you, oh, you speak Mandarin, that means you speak the Chinese language that is the adopted standard pronunciation. Okay? Some people think that's picking Chinese, but that's not necessarily so. Okay? In Peking City, this capital of China, people do speak very close to Mandarin. Okay? But the Mandarin is a sort of universally adopted standard. So we, therefore, we're going to focus on learning the Mandarin. Now, how do you sort of deal with the standard? You need some tools to help you to pronounce, okay? And we're going to do that. In this studio setting, we're going to use multimedia technology. We're going to listen, we're going to watch, okay, video, audio, and practice. So we will master that sound pretty easily. Now, first of all, get a concept across. You need some symbols to represent sound. Just like English, we have what?
Alphabet.
Alphabets, right? How many alphabets we have?
27.
27. Wait, 7. We'll get to that.
21.
I know. I think I confused them before when I say Chinese language, they have these symbols 21, 37, so on. We'll get to that. So don't get confused. English, we have 26 alphabets. Okay, if you have 27, somebody's going to ask you, wait, what's the 27th alphabet? All right, 26 makes a lot of words, right? And each symbol pronounced differently, correct? So, in Chinese, although it's not an alphabetic language, it's a pictorial, sort of a symbol, but they have used these alphabet type symbols to represent the sound so that you could pronounce, correctly. And therefore you can learn easily, just like any other alphabetic language. Now, in Chinese, so-called alphabets, there are 37. Okay, remember that number, 37. Now, there's two parts. One, they call it initials. One called finals. It's sort of like when you have two-syllable word in English, there's the first syllable, there's the second syllable, okay? And sometimes you pronounce them, first syllable strong, second syllable weak, or vice versa, right? Those kind of changes makes different sound, different words, okay? The Chinese alphabet is divided 37 into 21, okay? And the 16, all right? We will get to that, okay? And the symbols are written in a sort of a alphabet. You probably never seen it before in your life. On the other hand, how difficult is 37 symbols? It's not that much, okay? And that's why sometimes 2-year-old smart kid can look at 27 alphabets, pinpoint everyone. I have seen kids as young as, year and a half, able to pinpoint A, B, C, D, because simple pictures you can easily register. Now, 37 is not even double of 26, so it's not that many more, okay? And you can master that. And we're gonna help you how to master this is by listening to music. You remember the English sound, alphabet sound? Anybody? Let's see. C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Yeah, right? So, kids learn that, and that music helps. Now, the English is that way. Chinese has a music too. We will listen to that, okay? Now, do you prefer to listen to that now, and or we continue talking and then go to the music? You want to hear the music? Huh? Let's have a little taste of music, all right?
Okay.
All right, let's play the Chinese 注音符号 music. 注音符号 means 注音 symbol. 叽叽叽，吱吱吱，滋滋滋。See? Very much similar to the English alphabet sound, right? Towards the end, a little bit faster. I think they designed this deliberately to get you to start very easily, 1, 2, 3, simple, and then just a little faster, okay? You can listen to this music over and over again, memorize that, because the length of the music is probably 30 seconds. How hard is to memorize a 30-second speech? Huh? It's not very hard, right? So that is the sound, right? We're gonna play that, and you're gonna have either audio disc or a DVD. You can bring it home. You're gonna play that over and over again. You can listen to it. You master those symbols and sound. Once you get familiar with that, then the question is, how do you build up vocabulary? Right? Just like English. Oh, I know all my alphabets now. Okay. From then on, it's time to build words, right? So, the Chinese, same way. Then you put these symbols together to form word, right? Then you build vocabulary. And we typically, like any other language, you begin with common sentence like 你好吗 means how are you? 你早 means good morning, right? All these things are very similar, and it's common use every day. Therefore, you can remember that very easily. And once you have the sound and you can compare to the symbols, how that sound, for example, ni, how does ni come about? Is le, I, ni. Le is the one on the left side there. Po, po, mo, fo, de, te, ne.
No, it's no.
Le, yeah.
It's
This
not-
third, de, te, ne.
Yeah.
Right? The third one. The second row, third one. And ni, I is the top one, the little I, I, okay? Le, I, ni means you, okay? Hao means well
Good.
or good. Hao, he, ao, hao. He is the third row, third one, okay? That like an H, right? He, ao is the middle chart, first column down. The AO is ao, ao. He, ao, hao. So you got ni, hao. So ni is ne, I, ni. He, ao, hao. Right? Ma is a question mark. It's just like in English, how, where, why, those kind of question mark word. Ma is M. Ma, the M, the first row, third one, M. A, the first, on the second chart, the top, look like a Y. Actually, it's okay? Ma, ma. So, ni, hao, ma is very simple combination of these symbols. So you grab 3 vocabularies already just by knowing these combinations, right? So it's pretty simple. And we have nice tools to help you. Okay? I'm getting to that. Let me first, when you sign up the course, okay, you will get minimum 2 packets and a CD and a DVD as we go session to session. Session will be recorded on a DVD. You actually bring it home to see yourself, watch yourself. How did I do in a class? So it's very easy to reinforce yourself in the learning process. Now, there's 2 packets. The first one, let me just go through this quickly. The first page is a legal document. That means because we are doing this in studio and the DVD will be recorded and be made, and we can broadcast through cable TV. So you need to sign a release form so that Cablevision will feel safe that nobody's going to sue them, right? So that is a legal document. The second page, it's a summary of all these charts into one. Basically, is the symbols, bopomorph symbols, with the Chinese symbols and this English letter, okay? As I explained to you before, maybe to one of you, when the Chinese symbols are invented, okay, some people feel difficult, particularly the people in the Western world using English. They find it difficult. It's different alphabets. And they try to use English alphabet to represent. And the second reason for that is because typewriter is invented, okay, first for English. Therefore, everybody can type English very fast, A, B, C, D, right? Mm-hmm. Now, when you try to type Chinese, although you can program to produce the font, but the keyboard is already made, mass-produced, and a lot of computers all use the same keyboard. So therefore, people try to program the keyboard and type out Chinese characters based on the keys you touch. So that mapping, this is called mapping the English alphabet into a Chinese alphabet produced this other things like a BPMF. BPMF really is bo, po, mo, fo. They try to be as close as possible in sound, okay? As I say, bo. Why is B? You know English, you can say boy, okay? Butter, right? So the B, bo, is similar, right? But no matter how similar, they are going to be differences, right? Therefore, that system, some people like it, some people don't. Some people prefer to use the authentic Chinese representation so they pronounce accurately, because sometimes when you look at English, you will say, ooh, that's a J. But it's G, not J in Chinese. See? G, chi, xi. It's not J, Q, X, right? So some people will find the English so-called pinyin representation a little bit confusing, particularly when you are used to the English language or you are just beginning to learn the English language. I know some people, Spanish people want to learn Chinese, okay? At the same time they are learning English because they haven't really mastered English. That's really confusing because when you look at it, X is she, right? So, but for people who already, you know the English alphabet already, and you are taking the Chinese, you recognize the difference. Once you understand the concept, then it becomes so easy because you know, oh, that's different representation. So when you look at a Chinese page, the X appears, you will know that's she, then you'll pronounce she. Understand? Okay. So that's why this is together, wrote it together to reinforce this two parallel system. Why I do that? Because eventually it will be useful to know both. Because some books print it and have Chinese symbols on the side to help you. Some books don't. And when you use typing, as I said, this English keyboard, an English keyboard using BP, these type of things, so you have to remember that system. So it's better just to absorb this two in the same time. Imagine 37 times 37, not times, add 37 is what?
74.
Yeah, it's still within 100. It's not a big number. Particularly once you know the similarity, okay, you get used to it. Plus, with the sound, the music to help you, you would drill that. You look at the table. That's why this page is important to have bo, po, mo, fo down and this BPMF down, it's parallel. And you look at this and you listen to the music, okay? And you will see. Let's have the music again, all right? You can. See? See, it's not difficult, right? The reason they switch is the sound has to have melody, right? So they make the arrangement so the melody sounds better, right? If you really force you to do the sequence, you can, but maybe the melody is not so nice, right? So once you recognize that, you can rewrite this like I did. Let's have the sound again. Ji qi xi, zhi qi shi, zi ci si, yi wu yi, a o e, I e ao, oh, Let's do it again. You're getting the hang of it. Okay. 机器西，直吃是自吃是。啊哦哎哎啊哎啊哦啊啊哦。Very good. Okay. Now, this is your first time. You don't even have any help in terms of the sound because both symbols to you is brand new, right? Yet, once you listen to it and you follow it, you get it, right? So it's not difficult. Now, if you get a disc back and you play it and you look at this, you'll be able to follow. And after 1 or 2 times, you will not even need to have this sheet. You will be able to more for just naturally, okay? So that's why I believe using the correct method, doing the Chinese teaching in a studio setting like this with people, the only ingredient I require from people is they are interested, okay? When people are not interested, force people to do something is not good. It's my philosophy. I never want to force people. People should be able to realize what's good for them, what is nice, what is value, what is an asset. You should then decide what to do. Okay? What I would do is I would do the best I can to build the learning process fun. Listen to music, watch DVD, okay? Play games. How difficult would that be? Huh? That's not too difficult, right? Okay, good. So that packet, this page, we took it. Next is a little harder. I mean, if it's too easy, everything is too easy, sometimes you will find boring too. Got to have a little bit of challenge. In the Chinese language, with 5,000 years history, it's got to be some challenge somewhere. Can you tell me what is the challenge? That language.
Knowing. Wait, for what?
The Chinese language, say, compared to English, what would be the additional challenge? We just went through the sound, so forth. They're not so difficult. You can handle it. Now, what is the challenge part?
It's the extra words that go along with the sounds.
That is the words that is really written.
Yeah.
Because people normally write Chinese characters. They don't write those symbols, right? You don't find a newspaper was full of the symbols. First of all, that would look very ugly, how full of symbols, right? What the Chinese publication is written in Chinese characters. Now, here is the page example. These are Chinese characters. That's the challenge. Because they're characters, they don't look like English alphabets, right? They look like each strokes. The Chinese strokes turn out. Don't get scared. There are only few basic strokes. In fact, if you really comes down, it's 5 basic strokes. A point, a horizontal line, vertical line, a side stroke, another side stroke. With these 5 strokes making combinations into words. Then there's a little slight a variation, a little bit here and there, but that's the 5 basic, okay? Now, can you write stroke? I'm sure anybody, when you learn English, initially you write A, B, you learn those strokes. Then later on, even scripts, right? Chinese also have script. They call it calligraphy, right? It's art, just like English script can be an art, right? But we're not going that far, okay? We're now concentrating just language. So the strokes is these basic strokes. Now, I am going to show you a secret. How do you learn writing efficient and help you to memorize vocabularies efficient is to recognize the fact that Chinese is rectangle words. Okay? When you see a newspaper, books, the words are rectangle. This square or rectangle is in a box, right? You can see it all in the box. Now, I have put this side here. You notice this one? This
It's different.
3, right? Okay. This page I designed for you to help you to write if you need to write or you're interested in writing is to guide you to write the word in a proportional size. You see the 2 horizontal lines below is for you to write your pinyin representation, which is the English alphabet representation. If you want to, you write it down. For example, 这个宁 le yin vertically is the Chinese symbol. Down below, you would write N, that's le, right? Le, le. Then E is I, right? So N, I, Ng, see? Ng is En. So N-I-E-N is N-I-E-N. Ning, Ning. Almost look like English is that way, okay? But don't force fit. Forget about those are for English. This is not for English. Those are for Chinese, the way they arranged. So you would write the pinyin representation down below if you need to. You don't have to. Exactly my point before. These 2 systems are designed for different purpose, different people, so on. Some people are smart enough to know both. Some people don't want just one. That's up to you. So that's down below. This square is for you to write words. Now, this square